Hi guys, and happy Saturday. Hope you're all doing better across the nation. Here in Chicago, we still have a lot of snow, but the sun's out, so hopefully it'll start to melt soon. But then they talk about flooding because depending on what part of Chicagoland you live in, you've gotten anywhere from 24 down to 12 inches of snow. Yeah, I said down to 12 inches of snow. Here in Bolingbrook, we think I leveled out at 18, maybe it was. I'm not sure. So anyway, hope your weekend's going good. What I'm going to show you today is a lot of the demonstrators on their different YouTube channels and Facebook Lives and all of that have been showing this card, and I forgot about this card. Some call it a slide and lock. Some call it a elevator card because it kind of reminds you of an elevator. Once you move it up, the doors open. So anyway, so here's the card. And what you do is you slide this up and then you have your inside. So you have your mechanism here that keeps it in here. So you'll see. Let me get it closed back up. So when you can see it's not falling apart, it's not coming down, but once you, and it's closed, and once you slide it up, then you have the card and the inside and whatever you want to do on the greeting. So let me go ahead and lock that back in. I'm going to show you how it is. It's not as difficult as it looks. Okay, so we're going to start with our standard card base. This is, of course, 5.5 by 8.5. So see, you mark it right there so you can see 5.5 by 8.5. We're not going to score it at 4 1/4 like we usually do. What we're going to do is, let me get my trimmer. You're going to come in and you have your 2 1/8 mark here. I go halfway between that 2 1/16 and 2 1/8. So I go like right about there, and you're going to score. And then you're going to flip it over. And again, now if you go straight to 2 1/8, you don't have that little gap in between, which is fine. If you go at 2 1/8 and it meets up completely, then you can just go ahead and trim a little off. So let me go ahead and show you. So now you see when you fold that in, see how there's a little bit of a gap? Let me even that out. I must have moved the board a little bit. But there's a little gap there. Okay. Then we're going to be using designer paper from the free celebration. So you get this paper when you order $50 worth of product till the end of February. It is called Flower and Field. So you can see, I'm going to see how well I can flip it. Lots, oh, that's a pretty date. Maybe I should use that one instead. All right, so lots of good colors, okay? And of course, it'll tell you, it's Bumblebee. Now, last week I did a video, and I said honeybee. Pardon me. I was thinking of Honey Crisp that we had a few years ago. This is Bumblebee. So Bumblebee, Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, Pebble Pink, Pool Party, Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, Shaded Spruce, So Saffron, and Whisper White. Now, yes, our Whisper White is no longer being manufactured, so there is some Whisper White left. I think prior now they've probably got into the ends of the reserves, and they're now using the basic white. Of course, you know me, I'm a paper hoarder, so I have Whisper White still, and that's what I'll be using today. So for this card, we're going to make this panel here. So of course, that's your 5 1/4. That's going to leave a little bit of the border. And we're doing it this way because when we cut the strips, we want our flowers to stand up and not lay down on their sides. Okay? And then I would tell you to go ahead and do it at 2, but what I like doing is I like looking to see how big is that flap. And see, it is a little over 2. I don't know if you can see that. I'll put it up here, but I don't have the marking. So it's a little over 2. So that'll be okay to do 2 on that side and then go here. That still is a little over 2. If we bring it down here, you can see just a little over 2. So we're going to cut these at 2. So then I'm only going to, I already have some cut, but like I said, depending on where you score, it may adjust it just a bit. So I was like, you know, looking at those flaps, those panels, and marking them. Okay, put that over here. So now we're going to go ahead and take Stamp and Seal. We're going to take that one panel, try to get it a little centered. It's going to be a very thin. Maybe I should cut it just a little bit more, but it's all right. We're going to leave it just like that. Maybe I should have gone just a hair under that too. All right. So then make sure the flowers are the same side up. Here we go again. So the top and bottom border is going to be a little wider than the side, but when you close it up, you're not going to notice because, of course, you have that in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to make the mechanism. So what you're going to do is, of course, I still have the Whisper White. You're going to, let me see, hopefully I have enough to get, I might have to get another sheet of Whisper White because you need 4 panels of 3x3. So let's see. All right, and so let me go ahead and grab one of my 4x12 sheets that I always have around, of course. Let me go 3, 3, and you sometimes can do 2 layers, but I found with the white, the vanilla, and the basic black, that if you do 2, sometimes you get what I call scritchies on the edge. You don't get that clean cut like you do with the colored cardstock. Okay, so let's put all of this over here because I'm making a mess. More scraps for my page protectors to go into. All right, so here we have our 4 pieces. And on 2 of these, you're going to score now. So move that blade up. You're going to score at 1.5 or halfway in that 3. You're only going to do this on 2 of them. And remember, you don't have to push hard with that score blade. If you push too hard on the score blade, you potentially could crease the paper enough where it's going to cut. All right, so here we go. And there's our 2 pieces of 3x3 that are folded, and then 2 pieces that aren't. Okay, for this next step, you're going to use your Stamp and Seal or your tear and tape, whichever you like best, because you want this to be a strong hold. And what I do is I put, oh, and we're out of that. So you know what? I'm going to use the Stamp and Seal just for now. Just know that whenever you have a mechanism, you want to use your tear and tape or your Stamp and Seal Plus. And I could go get my tear and tape, but that would take me more than 3 seconds. And I want to do this video quickly. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to lay this down to the edge of the unscored one. This is the scored one. Go right to the edge. And then you're going to go right to the edge there. And then you're going to take your other 3x3 and lay it on top. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. All right. That is your mechanism piece that goes in here. Now you're going to do colors or layers to go above that. Now you can die cut here. You can, you know, use more designer paper. You can do whatever you feel like. I'm just going to go ahead and grab, let me see. Nice thing about standing up and doing this video instead of sitting down, I'm right here by all my supplies. You know, my cardstock's right there. My markers and my stamp pads are there. my blends are there and all my stamps are there. So it helps. All right. So since we know this is 3 by 3, and I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do 3 layers. So my smallest one will be another 3 by 3 in the middle. So then that means if this is going to be the second layer up, I'm going to do this a 1/2 inch more. So I'm going to do this at 3.5 by 3.5. And yes, I probably have a scrap of cherry cobbler somewhere, but too lazy to look for it right now. And then I have a lot of So Saffron. So I'm using that up. You know, my favorite, of course, is Mango Melody. In the yellows, I'm more of a Crushed Curry or Daffodil Delight. And of course, the new Bumblebee, not Honeybee, Bumblebee is also a new favorite. So here, that was 3.5. So this one I'm going to do a 1/4 more. So this is 3 1/4. And then here's my last layer from that piece that I just used. And this is going to be another 3 by 3. Okay. I'm not going to completely put this card together, but I do want to show you how I got this effect, this spritzer effect. You know, back in the day we had that air spritzer, which was really fun to do. But now we don't have it. So people, and I didn't want to do it. I wasn't a big fan of it because I thought I would hurt my markers. But this is what people do. They'll come here and they'll take the edge and they'll just flick it off of the lid. Now you're going to get a little bit of a, I don't know if you can see, a little bit of a well in there. Sometimes I just go like that to get any more out because, you know, it's in there. It's not going to stick to that. All right, so there, that was Gorgeous Grape. And now we'll go to Cherry Cobbler. And I was really afraid, oh my gosh, I'm going to, oops, don't get too close because you'll do that like I just did. I thought I was going to be hurting my markers, but then I'm thinking, you know what? I've had these markers for a year. If I have to spend another $2 to $3 to replace one, so be it. So that's how I did that. So here we go. We're going to, and I'm not going to layer down this, but I'll show you how I do this. So then on here, you're going to cover that mechanism piece with your biggest cardstock, your 3.5, and kind of center it so it looks good on your card. Here is that So Saffron. Then I'm going to stamp a greeting on there, probably put on a dragonfly, find one of my many dragonflies I have laying around. Maybe I'll color that one and pop it up. But that's how you do it. That is your, once you get that down, here's your card. And then slide it up. Put your layer inside of there. I usually use our shimmer white. Is that what it's called? I think it's shimmer white. On the inside, stamp it like I did here. This is a leftover strip from when you cut all 4 strips from your designer paper. That's leftover strip, so it's real nice to use there. And that's how you make your slide and lock card. Let me go ahead and put this one back in so you can see it. All right, guys. I hope you're warm. I hope you're safe wherever you're at. Take care in this crazy time, this weather that we're having across the United States. And come on back. I'll probably try to do one either tomorrow or again next Saturday. But give me a holler. Put down a comment if you like. I try to answer them all. And also make sure that you hit your notifications or subscribe. That way you get all of my updated videos. Have a great day.